Alrighty then. Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and I'm still working on my custom mobs. I don't know what I'm going to call them. I have a lore for them, but I don't have a name for them yet. I'm thinking about simply calling Risen Vengeance, and I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so they're like a grayish, blackish, brown mix here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cardboard. Here we go. And I'm going to get a big dry brush, something like this one. Let me just get... Let's do it this way. And I'm not making this super dry. I'm just kind of going to leave some of the black in there, I think. There are some spots where I didn't base coat them super well, and that dry, it's noticeable. So I'm going to try to cover that up some if I see spots I can hit. But it's easier to do all the brown and the wood first, then come back and do the stone would be my guess. Having a beautiful day off, making minis and watching podcasts, getting caught up on some reading. It's been amazing. I didn't sleep in, of course. One of my big things is on my days off, I still wake up. I just can't seem to get that extra little bit of sleep that we crave and desire. I want it. I want it bad. I just don't get it. Well, the little guy's got to go off to school, and Mrs. Doom has to go to work, and you know, all that jazz. Okay, I'm having some problems here, underneath here. That arm is loose. So what we're going to do is get a little super glue. Let's see if we can't get that back in there nice and sturdy. And you really don't want to have to be doing this after you started painting, but you know, it's better to take the time to try to fix it now than let it become an issue. I don't think this is going to destroy our paint job completely. I'll get a little bit in there. There we go. That'll sturdy that up good, I hope. We'll let that sit off to the side. We'll move to the next color. So for the next color, I'm just going to get a lighter brown. I'm going to get a medium brown now. This is called melted chocolate. I use this a lot if you've been watching. And I'm not even going to clean out my brush or anything. I'm just going to grab that and smear it around over here. And I'm not going to wipe all of it off, but I'm going to wipe a good bit of it off. And then, before I do the next step, we're going to hit these guys with the plus 200 gun of burning real quick. We'll set that off to the side. Now we can hit him with the gun, but I don't think he's really going to help his cause. Pardon me. Now I'm going to get a lighter brown than that. And I'm going to mix it. I'm just going to use this territorial beige and mix it with that brown, that melted chocolate. I'm going to use a little bit of on my towel over here too, my cleanup towel, just to make sure it's not too much. Okay. Now the last and final step, where we dry brush with a light gray, we'll hit everything, including the rocks, with that, and that'll help us clean up some of the areas that are a little questionable. We didn't do the medium brown on that. Got this guy. I think it's going to be okay. Whoops. All right, we're done with that color for now. And let's get our stuff set off to the side. Get a corner, clean this up. This is that towel I was talking about. It's just an old towel the kids don't use anymore. So now I want to get a dark gray. This is pavement. It's my favorite color in the whole world. Let's get a brush. Dampen that brush up. Wipe a lot of that water out of it. Let's come back and start doing the stone parts. These don't have to be perfect, but you want to cover up every part of them that should be rock. I'll talk about the moral high ground. Now, I'm not a philosopher or an expert on these things, but I do have 45 years of applied knowledge from living the life that I live and trying to be the kind of man that I try to be. Let me talk to you guys a little bit about what the moral high ground is and what it consists of. I think a lot of you have probably drawn similar to conclusions to what I have at this point, but we won't know until this conversation ends. No one at all, not a pastor in a church or a candidate for office or a school teacher or principal or anyone at all, there's just not a person who is perfect, who isn't in ways selfish or in ways corrupted or tempted by things that are bad. No one is perfect, in my experience. My grandma was close, but she was from a different time. And, it was just a different world then. So, when you talk about moral superiority, very seldom do we have moral superiority. For example, I was going through rough times in my marriage a few years ago. I was very unhappy, and I didn't feel like there was any reconciliation. I was heavily resenting my wife, and I didn't feel like there was a way to come back from that. I didn't do this guy's feet. That's the truth. I just thought it was over. And even though I didn't act on it, and as much as it occurred to me that I might or might not do so, but something inside me didn't allow it, I hoped to meet some woman that I could start secretly building a life with. To have some kind of future, some kind of real connection, some kind of ability to have more. And I daydreamed about this, and I'd meet people, and I'd think, oh, what if this is the one? I ran into an ex. Actually, it was the sister of an ex. And I actually liked her better than the ex, and she's like, why didn't we ever hook up, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And inside of me, an evilness, a darkness, a need to feel whole and complete, a need to feel that fulfilled, spoke up and said, oh, this is your chance. And it kept speaking up. And for some reason, not for some reason, for just the fact that I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that person that does that to my family. I didn't act. I just let it go. I passed it by. I walked away. I hoped and prayed. When I say pray, I'm not like a super Christian or anything, but I do try to pray and make some kind of connection with the higher power. I'm not sure what the higher power is or what I believe or don't believe about the higher power, but I do believe there's something stronger than me out there, some kind of force that created things in some way, or at least if it didn't create them, it knows about them more than I do. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I tried being a Christian for many years of my life, and it always felt insincere and felt like it wasn't what I was. Anyways, so if I say I'm the moral majority, I'm superior when it comes to knowing what's right and wrong, I'm wrong. Because even I, who should know what's right and wrong, and have had plenty of chances over the years to learn what's right and wrong, still in my heart of hearts often let the wrong things dwell in my mind rent-free for too long. I am not perfect. And that's just one example. You want to talk about, like, Christian morality, I'm way wrong. But just morality in general, like, I'm a violent person. The Army taught me one thing that I still agree. Nothing really gets resolved through peace. Somebody's ass is getting kicked if you want resolution. And in my heart of hearts, to this day, when people get snippy with me, or if I see people doing wrong to others, something inside me says to attack them. Now, I know I can't. I know that I have a family to take care of and kids that rely on me, and I know that's just not real. But my instincts tell me violence will fix this problem. So again, perfection not achieved on my behalf. Now, you could argue, this is that dark blue gray, and I've been using this a lot lately because I just got it and I like it a lot. I don't think it's going to bring a lot to the miniature. I try not to use things that I don't think will contribute to the overall look of a miniature much, but you know what, let's just try it and see what we can get with it. I'm going to mix it in with that brown a little bit. And I'm only going to use this on 2 of them. I'm not going to use it on all 3 of them. There's a street sweeper or something going down the road there. I'll tell you in a minute when I can see it better. It is the street sweeper sweeping my street. How nice. I'm so excited. Alright, so I hit 2 of those with that. Sorry it's loud. I didn't even know we had a street sweeper. Guess I should have assumed there was something going on there because the streets are always pretty clean. I don't know if I live on a hill. I thought maybe rain washed it away. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, we all strive. That's not true, not all of us. A lot of us strive to be the best we can be. We strive to be good people, to be good role models for those around us. We strive to at least, if nothing else, have other people think that we are good. That we are good people that have good intentions. Because trying to get through in the world where the world thinks you're bad is just about impossible. And I think we all know that from watching enough movies and TV. Bad guys have a harder time getting around, doing what they want to do. So we try to give off this image that we're good. And I'm no exception to that. I always, even though I try to be a good person, I also want to give off the look that I'm good. And I'm guilty of this as much as the next person. Sometimes I'm guilty of trying to make myself look better than I might even be. And I don't do it on purpose. It's just a thing that we do inside of us to protect us from other people and from their machinations and their ideas. But it happens. Okay. That arm is a little loose, so we're going to get some super glue and fix that. Okay. We'll let that sit for a minute. Can't really put baking soda on this dude at this point because it's too far into the paint job. So that super glue melted the foam earlier when we were crafting them, and as I suspected, it ruined everything. So now we're going to get a lighter gray. This is called granite gray, and we're not using this straight. We're going to do something a little fancy here. You might or might not like this. We're going to get this granite gray. It's got a very blue tint to it. We're going to get a tiny bit of yellow. We're going to mix those together. Let me get this piece over here where it's a little drier and easier to... We're going to take a lot of that off. we're going to use that kind of on both the stone and on the wood in some spots, just where it sticks up a little bit or there's high points. Okay. But yeah, the moral high ground is kind of a loaded gun too, because the more you think you have the moral high ground, or the more you think that you're part of some moral superiority, the more often you are to overlook your own faults. The more often you can forget that you yourself can be wrong. And that's a dangerous, dangerous road. Because when you start forgetting about your failures, and your weaknesses, and your fallacies, it gets easier to judge others. So, for example, if someone comes up to me and they say, oh, blah, 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 I did this and this and this, but don't judge me. I don't want to judge them to begin with. But I'll tell you, the more time I spend in my head thinking I'm some kind of moral superiority, the more likely it is that I will judge them. One more to do here, and this is the one we just did that arm repair on. Okay, he looks a lot better. I'll get a little bit of that. A little more yellow to that. That's just because I don't want these all to look identical. I want them to all have their own kind of unique little look. I really want to focus on that sticking up piece up there. Make that look nice. Okay. Something like that. All right, let's set this off to the side. Let's flip this around and let's look at these eyes. So for the eyes, what I want to do is I want to get a yellow. Wait, do I want to get a yellow? No, let's get like a neon green. What do I have here? I have this kiwi. It's pretty light. It's not quite neon, but it's light. Let's get a small brush. Let's just do a little kind of cartoony looking round eyes for now. And then we'll come back in and we'll do a vibrant blue dot on those. And this guy only had the one eye, the other one got ruined. And that's okay. Now for my bright blue, I have this turquoise. I'm going to clean that brush up. You know what? I have a metallic blue that I'm always looking for excuses to use. So I'm just going to make a little dot in the center of that one. And this guy just had the one eye. Now, because my paint jobs down on the bases were not ideal, and I didn't spray paint these, we need to kind of do some touch-up work down here on the outer rims. And I used to have this thing, and really until I started doing videos, I did it all the time. I like to go around the edges of my miniature bases with black usually. But when I started doing monsters and stuff, I got away from it. But because I didn't paint these with spray paint first, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a bigger brush. I'm going to come around. And you want it to be, your paint can be thin and you want your brush to be damp. You don't want this to be chunky. Just follow that little band around the outside. All right. Yep, almost done. You're going to do that to all three of them. And after we get these done, we use the +2 hot air gun of burning, and we'll dry these off so they're nice and dry. And then we'll flock these bases up. And we're going to do something else a little different than usual too. We're going to put a little flock on the models as well. Not a whole lot. It's not going to be obscene or anything. It's just going to be a tiny bit. Now, I think we're going to call these Blightwerds. Let me quickly get into how these things come to be. So a witch or some kind of angry fae or some kind of nature-based creature that's out there, whatever it may be, is angry at a civilization, a town, a society, a farm, whatever it may be, for either encroaching on their lands or just because they're malevolent and they want to harm them. They do a ritual where they take the hearts of innocents and put them in piles of forest refuse, rocks and dead trees and stuff like that. Maybe they put it inside of a tree trunk of a fallen tree, whatever it may be. And they do a ritual. And after 3 full nights, the 4th morning, after those 3 full nights, the pile starts to stir. Throughout that day, strange, otherworldly tendrils start to grow between the pieces in the pile, finding the parts that could form it into such a beast and placing its heart in the center, magically, of the giant, most prominent mass, which it doesn't have to be stone, it could be wood or whatever. It only absorbs the dead things around it. However, if there's moss growing on a stone or a log, it doesn't kill that moss right away, but it will kill it. So what happens is these Blightwerds, or whatever you want to call them, they get up that evening as the sun starts to drop and the moon starts to rise. They stand up and they're ready to do the bidding of whatever evil creature has sacrificed innocence to create them. And anywhere they step, they're a little comical, but anywhere they step, within 10 feet of them, instantly starts decaying. So let's get my fall mixture here. Fall ball. Let's get some glue, clear. And let's see if we can't make these a little interesting. Now, each of them might have the similar attack of a slam or a punch or a grapple or a tackle or whatever it may be. But they'll also have, based off of their composition, special abilities. Like for this one has some kind of old vine as a tail. Maybe he also has some kind of grapple attack, or maybe he can climb really well. He's got these tendrils here for like vines as part of his hands. Maybe there's something to that, you know. So each one of these could be a little different. Maybe one has a giant club for a hand like this guy, and he has a knockback attack. Or maybe he knocks you prone if you fail a save. So each of these having a unique portion of design. There's a little bit of badness there, blue sticking out. But yeah, that's important, because if all enemies are boring and the same, I don't feel like they're memorable. And I know that random encounters, which I've kind of gotten away from random encounters, but random encounters aren't always supposed to be memorable. But if you go out of your way to create an enemy, it's only reasonable that you should want people to remember it. Hold on. You don't want to spend all this time creating a custom mob and thinking of how it works and what it does, and having a lore that the only way to kill it is possibly to use bludgeoning weapons that have been blessed by a mayor or leader of a town, or the head farmer of a farm, or whatever it may be, has to give it this bludgeoning weapon. It's his or her blessing. A magistrate or whatever the lowest local leader would be. If it was a lumber camp, maybe the head lumberjack, his blessing is enough to do it. But you have to get these bludgeoning weapons blessed, and then, after you get them blessed, then, at that point only, can they try to do enough damage to this thing's torso to stop it and finish it off. I lost my clear glue. I set it down. There it is. I need a little bit more. I want to get some of this stuff up on their bodies too, a little bit. Not everywhere, just to to show that it's been sitting and decaying. All right, so if you like what I'm doing here, please hit like, subscribe, share the video if you feel so compelled. Hit the notification bell icon if I didn't say that. I don't know what I said. But do all that call to action stuff. Leave me a comment. I enjoy comments, except for people that just make smart-ass remarks. Actually, I enjoy those too. Don't let me lie to you. But yeah, do all that stuff. Maybe buy some miniatures from the website. The link will be in the description. If it's not immediately, it will be at some point. I think this guy needs a little bit on his head. The other two didn't get any on their heads. Okay. So there are my Blightwerds. And they are servants of evil, obviously. They're twisted and warped, and they walk funny. They walk like a scary movie bad guy. As if they're unsure of their footing, because they just got resurrected. Or not resurrected, but they just got summoned into existence. So they're not professional walkers. Paper plates are better for this, because they don't have like that static but I don't have any down here at the moment. I have foam. So, yeah, join our Discord. Show us what you're crafting, what you're making. I'd love to see it. When these dry, I'll clear coat them, and they'll be sturdy and good. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.